Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's see. What do these tea leaves have in store for you, Sagittarius? Okay. Just kind of hold it out here. Hopefully you are doing well. We are kind of all dealing with some sickness in our household right now. So, I might sound a little tired, a little weary. And it looks like you have some maybe more on the serious side. More serious things going on than usual. Let's see. So I'm going to start up here with this large formation. And to me, this one definitely looks like a horse with a person kind of oddly standing on top of it, almost in a crouched position. And it really coincides with this next formation that also looks like a horse with a person on top of it kind of pointing over here. So usually when I see a horse that is in movement, especially if we have the two formations, this tells me that this is a progressive situation. This is continuing. And the horse, when there's somebody on top of it, or like if they have a cart or, something like that, it leads me to believe that there is some kind of travel happening. The horse is being kind of used as a vehicle, and there's some kind of migration, pilgrimage, something along those lines. But it could also be hunting, and a big thing when I see, sometimes we see the people with kind of things that look something like a weapon, or like how we have here with the pointing at this figure. This figure almost looks like it is running, okay? And then you look this other side like this, and it looks like it's running as well. We go back over to this formation that looked like a horse on the other side, and here it also looks like a horse, okay? A horse with the head and the body and the legs, but then the person looks like maybe they're holding something, they're getting down off of the horse, and so I get this distinct feeling of running, fleeing, kind of being chased. I think it's interesting as well, and I want to pick this up and show you. This is the Death card from the tarot deck, the Carnival at the End of the World. And in this depiction, we have a skeleton that is riding a horse who is also a skeleton and holding the sickle, okay, which would be related to death, but also Saturn, okay? And so I think it's interesting that we have this mirroring in our cup with the card that was chosen before I even set the cup up to steep and then drink it. So now I know when you see the death card and depicted in a lot of movies or TV or whatever, popular culture, you immediately think, oh no, somebody's going to die. There's some kind of physical death happening. Well, I am here to tell you that is rarely the case, okay? I think that usually, and this is why this is one of my more favorite cards, actually, is that the death card is usually more related to the end of a cycle, the end of a situation, maybe an abrupt end to a relationship, or oftentimes too, things that are not working for us in our life, right? So even if we really cling to something that we're doing in our life, a job, a relationship, something that we put a lot of time and effort into, but it's just not working out, it's not beneficial to us, but we're kind of in the routine of it, or we don't want to let it go because, we've put all this effort into it. Sometimes when this death card shows up, this death energy, it's kind of out of our hands, and these situations come to an end. And although that can be painful, it can also be very beneficial to us, right? We kind of begin to shed some of those things that do not serve us well, that we are, staying loyal and activated and active within, but it's kind of like chasing your tail in a circle, right? And so when this death on the horse shows up, it's kind of like, okay, well, here's a change coming. And it's up to you. How are you going to navigate that? How are you going to react? How are you going to grieve? How are you going to heal? And what are you going to do with that information, that wisdom that you take from this entire situation, right? And so, to me, this is a beautiful card. Not an easy one, not an easy energy, but sometimes, right, the hardest, most difficult things in life lead to some of the most beautiful and fertile places that we find ourselves, okay? And so I'm looking at this, and I feel like you have been in some kind of situation that you came into really kind of almost naively, I think, maybe even like idealistic about how this might come together for you, how it might, I'm getting the sense of like coming into it thinking that all sides will be equal, right? Kind of this phrase of all things will be balanced, equal. I'm going to go into this. I will be honored if I put in the work to honor the other participants in this situation, right? And unfortunately, in life, that always, that doesn't always happen. Even if we have the best intentions, we plan, we collect the resources, we put in a lot of hard work, and just really, really show up. We're there, we're doing it, it's our focus. And sometimes people or things just don't work out, and they end up letting us down, right? And I feel like you've been in a situation like this recently, and I think that you have been really trying to find a way to make it work for you, okay? Trying to revive it, trying to move the furniture around so it feels a little more, homey, I guess is like the feeling I'm getting. Like, and it's just like, for some reason, it's just off. There's not the symmetry there. The energy feels weird. And you just can't figure out what is going on. Why is this not working for you? Okay. And I want to stop just for a second with that thought, though, kept in your mind. And I want to show you these H's. It seems to be we have an H here, a small h, and then we have an H right here. Now, this is in that physical zone, but it's also reaching up here into this, the mental, psychic, the place where your feelings and ideas and things that are preoccupying your mind, that's kind of where they dwell, right? So I think that this is maybe a person that is involved, and I see that it almost looks like it's falling away, between this horse and the person riding the horse, and then this person who's kind of fleeing, right? So I'm trying to decide as I'm looking at this, are you the person on the horse, or are you the person that's fleeing? Are you both? Okay, are you, I feel like on some level you have the instinct to kind of cut your losses and get out of this, this kind of toxic situation that seems to be getting worse and worse by the moment. And now this could be like a business dealing. This could be some kind of creative partnership. This could be a relationship, a situation with a family member. I mean, I'm not really sure exactly, but whatever it is a big, just based on the size of these formations, this is a big deal in your life. This is taking up a lot of your time, your energy, and like your mental, spiritual resources, probably physical as well. And I just want to look at this way here. And I really get the feeling, and I said that, okay, and so we have this, it looks clearly like a 4, which, okay, yeah, an H upside down does look like a 4. So I'm going to go ahead and say we have those H's, but let's also look for a 4 somewhere involved in the situation, or maybe like a synchronicity in your life right now. In the near future, something coming up to kind of just let you know that the universe is, guiding you in this way. Okay, so look for the number 4. And I feel like, and this can be the case quite often, I think. But when I turn this formation, and this is the horse, right? The original one with the person kind of on it. It looks like their arm is kind of pointing. And then I turn it this way. It kind of almost looks like a head with like these horns kind of. And I feel this real sense of, when you got involved in this situation or this relationship, partnership with this person, they really had laid things out in such a way that seemed like they wanted to kind of build with you, create a life with you, create a business with you, work with you, and be a team with you. Okay, but I think that there's also, now as you are spending more and more time laying the foundation and really building together, and of course in any building process there are minor and sometimes major crises that come up, and just troubles and problems that need to be figured out and resolved. And this person seems to not really be the person that you thought they were. Okay, and okay, is anybody really who we think they are? Because, you know, as you know somebody longer and longer, your perception of them will evolve, become more dynamic, because we're all many things, right? But I feel like in this situation, this person is really showing you a dark side of them. Not just like a moody, angry, aggressive kind of side, although it seems like there might be some of that, but there's a real kind of darkness looming over this person. It almost feels like, you know, that there's like just like a like ill or foul energy really attached to them. And I think that that really comes out when they are feeling like they don't have a sense of power or control in any situation. So when, for instance, you know something that they don't, or you understand something that they don't, and you try to maybe take the lead on something, this kind of, you know, almost feeling like you've slighted them, but it turns into a really dark moment quickly. Okay, and I feel like you almost feel like you're dealing with somebody who's completely different than how you have known them. Okay, so, you know, and if you've seen my other videos, I bring this up fairly often, but if you are in a situation where you're dealing with somebody who makes you feel unsafe, or they're like volatile to the point where, you know, it makes you feel like your well-being is in jeopardy in any way, physically or emotionally or spiritually, you know, I really think that you should talk to somebody about that and find the support that you need. And I always give out like that that number that they have now, 988 in America anyways, and this is an emergency number for mental health crises and things that go along with that. So maybe, you know, like instances of abuse. Okay, so you know, if that's the case, I hope that you are able to separate yourself from this person. And I hate, you know, that sometimes these readings come into that tone, but I also don't want to shy away from that stuff either, because I think it's so important to talk about and get rid of the stigma of it. And also, I know that, you know, sometimes when we're seeking out guidance, you know, we're sometimes in tough situations and there's not really a lot of people in our life that are safe to talk to. So I just want to lend that support, even if it is passively. And also, you know, just remind you that I'm not a professional and not a therapist or a social worker or anything like that. So I'm not really qualified to give advice, but, you know, I think that, you know, although this is for entertainment, this video isn't for entertainment, okay, we can take away things that do speak to us. And so I always kind of push that narrative of finding help, finding a therapist, you know, somebody who can help you get to where you need to be, type of deal. Okay. Now, I want to look at this one, and it's interesting. It reminds me almost of if you are aware of or know of the character Baba Yaga, who is kind of what the story Hansel and Gretel is based off of. So it's kind of that archetype of the old crone or the witch that lives in the forest, and, you know, she's probably like eating children or kidnapping children or, you know, whatever. And, sh but also these stories, kind of are demonizing this kind of crone archetype, the mysterious kind of magic of women and feminine beings, the secrecy, the kind of you know, secret esoteric mysteries of women's health, especially before there was modern medicine and a health system. And, you know, not everybody was educated about these things. So there were these women and people who supported women's health that lived kind of on the fringe of society. They were definitely othered and a lot of times feared by the community because women would go there to seek guidance, help, and, you know, and things that had to do with the reproductive system, with, you know, having children, becoming pregnant, or, you know, just the different phases of life and so on. So these kind of stories were, in a lot of cultures, kind of built up around these characters. These, you know, probably what we would call something like a medicine woman or, you know, a healer or a witch or, you know, whatever you want to call it. So anyhow, I'm seeing this archetype here and she looks like she's kind of flying. And that's why I'm thinking of Baba Yaga, because Baba Yaga famously had a house with the chicken legs and then she'd fly around in this kind of, I think it was like a water pail. And so she would fly around with the water pail and, you know, kind of wreak her havoc and scare people and, you know, do whatever. So I think really kind of when I see this archetype pop up, I don't see it as something, you know, scary or, you know, like demonic or like a witch coming after you, but more this idea of you have support in your life that may be kind of hidden from you directly. Like you don't have necessarily the clarity of somebody that is just like forthcoming and, you know, coming to your aid. Okay, so this video is going to be cut together like some of my other ones. I am holding the baby. She woke up and she's not feeling well. So I'm holding on to her and we're going to see how the end of this goes. So anyways, honey, you got to be careful with that. As I was saying, I feel like there's somebody in your life that it's not a direct person. They're not offering help to you directly. So there's not really a clear connection. But I think that they are working in your benefit, kind of more in the background. And I know it's odd. Why would you relate this kind of Baba Yaga to being somebody who is helping you in this kind of more covert way? But to me, this archetype of the crone, and as I said, somebody who lives on the kind of fringe of the tribe or society, this kind of person that you wouldn't necessarily think to go to first. These are the people that really hold the knowledge, the collective understanding of our social groups. They're the people that have lived through a lot, and they oftentimes are the people who have the greatest empathy. Okay, so I feel that though misunderstood, this person is really kind of like putting that good energy and maybe even doing things to kind of help help you get out of this situation that you kind of are feeling like you need to get away from. But also the biggest thing I think is just a lot of prayers, a lot of well thinking, and helping, kind of asking the divine for guidance for you. So at some point in the near future, I have this feeling that this person is going to become more obvious to you. They're going to kind of be more revealed as somebody who has been in your corner the whole time, but you didn't necessarily think of them as being so. So maybe this is like a neighbor or somebody, you know, you went to church or you go to church with, or somebody you worked with like 3 jobs ago or something, you know, something like that. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. That's it's nice to have those types of people that, you know, they're not like on social media saying, hey, I'm going to pray for you or whatever. But they're people that do their work silently, okay? And they do it in earnest, and they really do have compassion and care for others, right? And it's nice to have that kind of energy pointed at you. Okay, so in the very, very middle, we have a J. Okay, so I think that this really is somebody that's important. I think this is maybe, I don't know, a partner, like a romantic partner, or it could be like a parent. Something is really going to come into focus pretty soon. It's going to kind of I think even take over your you know, the kind of all this other stuff is going to kind of be going on, but I think you're really going to be more really hyper focused on whatever is going on with this person. I don't really know exactly what that is, but I think it is coming soon. And now my cup is really starting to dry up here. And I'm sorry, I can't get it any closer because I'm holding a little one. But I also see here, this looks like a window, or, yeah, it looks like a window. I was going to say mirror, but I think this really looks like a window, the way it's kind of arched at the top. And what this makes me really think is that there's going to be a moment that is coming that is really going to be kind of, maybe not the door out of the situation, but the window, okay? So it might have to be a quick and kind of sneaky exit to some degree, but I think that you should think about taking that, you know, taking your leave as quickly as you can, because it seems like whatever's going on seems really volatile, somewhat aggressive, and it's really causing you a lot of stress. Okay, and so let's just look over this again. We have those double H's, we have the 4, we have this J, and we have, I think that was it for the letters. So look out for those, okay? And then I want to look here, and I'm going to lift this up. We have this very apparent 3. Okay, so again, the number 3. And usually when the numbers show up and it's not just like 3 dots or, you know, 3 lines or whatever, if it's like, it looks like the actual number, the symbol for the number, I would say that you're looking for the actual number, like a house, like the, you know, or an address, or some kind of number that's going to show up like in a text or something like that. So the number 3, and I see this beautiful bird here in flight, and I think that really it's, you know, this, I feel like there's going to be some good relief. And also I think in the situation that you are going through, there's kind of almost an element of feeling kind of maybe like embarrassed, guilty, alienated from those who are around you, and worrying about kind of being super open about the situation because you chose to kind of get involved in it. You think that maybe people will be a little more dismissive because it was your decision. But I don't think that's true. I think that once you kind of get a little bit of distance from what's going on, you're going to come to realize that other people, like the person we were talking about, maybe the neighbor or whatever, somebody who's not directly involved in your day-to-day life, you're going to find out, though, that people noticed that something was wrong, that you had something going on that maybe kind of changed your personality a little bit. Maybe you were a little bit more worried, stressed out, just obviously going through it. And once you have some distance from that and you are kind of talking about it more, you're going to realize that you had a lot of support you didn't know about. And even the people who, family members or people you work with or whatever, they're going to let you know that they noticed and they, maybe just didn't know how to talk to you about it or whatever. So you will have more support than you realize. Okay. And that, I think, is going to help you stay away from the situation and not go back to it. Okay. All right, Sagittarius. I thank you so much. And I'm sorry it was such a heavy read. But, that's what happens sometimes. And hopefully some of the good parts of this resonated with you. And if some of the more difficult ones did, I hope that it will help you find some resolution, think about what you're going to do, and kind of plan that out. Okay? And other than that, I just want to thank you so much. I'm always so honored to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind and like the video, it helps me to get into the algorithm. If you would also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, I would be so, so thankful. And please leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what parts of my readings speak to you. Maybe some of the things don't. I like to have some of that, the criticisms, as long as you're nice, right? And polite. I don't always like seeing the mean stuff, but who does, right? But yeah, so thank you so much. And we'll see you again in 12 days. In the meantime, go ahead and watch your other placements, your lunar, your ascendant / rising. And a lot of people have been watching their Venus placement as well. Okay, thank you.